In the dim hum of the Indiana Fever locker room, things are rarely as they seem. Lexie Hall, with her quiet but unshakable confidence, is more than just an up-and-coming talent on the Fever roster. She's quickly becoming a trusted voice behind closed doors. Known for her sharp eye and ability to read the room, Lexie isn't the kind to miss a beat, especially when Caitlin Clark, the electrifying basketball sensation, comes into play. And when Lexie Hall leaks details, well, people tend to listen up. But before we proceed further, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. The relationship between Lexie Hall and Caitlin Clark is an unexpected concoction of rivalry and camaraderie. They aren't friends in the traditional sense, but there's an undeniable pull between them. Caitlin, fierce and relentless on the court, is notorious for her firecracker attitude, while Lexie carries a calm, almost surgical precision that makes her a unique match. But when you put the two of them together, it's like bringing fire and ice into a small room, and the resulting steam is something you can almost see. Lexie has this habit of observing before acting, and her recent locker room revelations about Caitlin offer a fresh perspective on both players. From the outside, Caitlin might seem like an unyielding storm of threes and flashy moves, but Lexie lets us in on the nuances hidden behind Caitlin's highlight reels. She paints a picture of Caitlin that goes beyond the surface. Caitlin, it turns out, is something of a locker room enigma. She's not loud, but her presence carries weight, drawing in attention even when she's silent. There's a particular energy she brings, a silent intensity, that seems to latch onto everyone around her, amplifying the stakes even in casual moments. One night after a grueling game, Lexie found herself sitting on the locker room bench, stretching out her legs and replaying the game's biggest moments in her head. Caitlin had been on fire, hitting impossible shots and pushing the Fever to the brink. It was the kind of performance that leaves most players winded and spent. But Caitlin, she was leaning against the wall, barely breaking a sweat, a quiet smirk playing on her lips like she was already scheming her next move. Lexie watched her, half amused, half impressed. Caitlin has this rare knack for making the extraordinary seem casual, as if her athletic prowess is just another tool she can wield on a whim. It's this effortless style that throws everyone off balance, including Lexie, who usually prides herself on keeping a steady footing. The Fever locker room is its own ecosystem, sacred, yes, but also deeply unpredictable. There's an unspoken code among players to leave certain things unsaid, keeping the energy focused and uncluttered. But with Caitlin around, Lexie found herself in the middle of moments that didn't fit any playbook. Caitlin's presence stirred things up, brought out sides of people that they usually kept hidden. Lexie, for her part, became the unofficial chronicler of these shifts, and it wasn't long before word started getting around that Lexie had the dirt on what went down in that locker room. From what Lexie has hinted at, Caitlin's impact extends beyond flashy plays or clever quips. In fact, Caitlin's quieter moments seem to resonate the most. After a particularly intense game, where the Fever managed to scrape by in the final seconds, Lexie recalls Caitlin simply sitting on the bench, her head tilted slightly, watching her teammates with this expression of restrained amusement. She's not gloating, but there's a glint in her eyes, almost as if she's daring anyone to underestimate her next time. It's moments like these that stick with Lexie, fueling her own drive in subtle but significant ways. And yet, Lexie isn't without her own influence. Known for her sharp insights and steady demeanor, she has an understated way of bringing balance to the locker room. While Caitlin's energy crackles and hums, Lexie's is more like a grounding wire, keeping everyone centered without making a fuss. But make no mistake, Lexie isn't just there to keep the peace. She's as fierce as they come, and the subtle rivalry with Caitlin only adds fuel to her fire. Caitlin might be the storm, but Lexie is the calm force behind it, steady and unyielding. Sometimes, Lexie catches Caitlin giving her a sidelong glance, a slight smile, hinting that Caitlin knows exactly what Lexie's thinking. They don't need words. They're on a different wavelength, communicating through silent nods and raised eyebrows. And though they're different in many ways, they share a mutual respect that keeps the locker room from boiling over. Caitlin might push boundaries, but Lexie is there to remind her and everyone else where the line is drawn. There's a certain rhythm to this dynamic, a dance of sorts, that keeps everyone on edge but also brings out the best in the team. Caitlin's influence goes beyond her own performance, trickling into the very fabric of the Fever's locker room culture. She challenges everyone, even the veterans, with her unyielding commitment and sharp-witted commentary. And Lexie, with her keen eye, notices how this pushes her teammates to step up, pushing their limits without even realizing it. Caitlin might not say much, but her presence speaks volumes, inspiring a level of intensity that most players only dream of reaching. One night after an away game, Lexie found herself seated across from Caitlin on the team bus. The night was quiet, the kind of stillness that makes every little sound seem amplified. Caitlin was scrolling through game highlights on her phone, her face lit up by the screen's glow. Lexie noticed the faintest smirk as Caitlin rewatched one of her long-range shots, an almost mischievous look of satisfaction. Lexie couldn't help but chuckle to herself. Caitlin's joy in those moments wasn't about bragging. It was this pure, unfiltered appreciation for the game itself. Lexie found herself oddly inspired, feeling the same passion bubbling up in her chest. While Caitlin's boldness might ruffle some feathers, Lexie sees it as a refreshing break from the usual locker room dynamics. Caitlin's unabashed confidence and occasional sarcastic quips create an environment where no one is safe from a little good-natured ribbing. Lexie might catch Caitlin tossing a sly comment to a teammate who missed an easy shot, or raising an eyebrow when a coach delivers the same tired pep talk. It's Caitlin's way of keeping everyone on their toes, reminding them not to take themselves too seriously. Lexie finds herself smirking at these moments, watching as Caitlin artfully treads the line between humor and challenge. When Lexie talks about Caitlin, there's a clear admiration laced with amusement. She's well aware that Caitlin's approach is unorthodox, but she respects the way Caitlin forces everyone, including herself, to rethink their limits. There's something oddly endearing about Caitlin's style. This mix of raw talent and unapologetic swagger that few can pull off without coming across as arrogant. But Caitlin's charm lies in her authenticity. She doesn't put on airs or try to be anything she's not. Lexie, with her steady observation skills, notices how this disarms people, inviting them to loosen up and, paradoxically, dig deeper. At times, Lexie catches herself mirroring some of Caitlin's quirks, an ironic smirk here, a quick-witted response there. It's as if Caitlin's energy is rubbing off on her, pulling her into a world where restraint isn't the first instinct. And this influence, subtle as it may be, finds its way into the locker room dynamics, changing the team in unexpected ways. Lexie finds herself enjoying the challenge, rising to Caitlin's unspoken dare to match her intensity. In a way, Lexie's revelations about Caitlin are a window into the Fever's evolution. With each story, each small detail she lets slip, Lexie draws a picture of a locker room that's as complex as it is cohesive. Caitlin may be the catalyst, but Lexie's role as the steady observer, the one who leaks these tales, adds a layer of richness to the team's story. She doesn't exaggerate or embellish. She simply recounts what she sees, letting the humor and tension of each moment speak for itself. As Lexie talks about Caitlin's influence, there's a sense that she's still figuring out her own place within this ever-shifting dynamic. She might be the quiet one, the steady observer, but in her own way, she's just as much a part of the team's evolution as Caitlin. Lexie doesn't need the spotlight. She's content to play the role of the grounded voice, the one who keeps things in perspective. But make no mistake, she's as fierce as they come, and her bond with Caitlin, though unconventional, brings out a side of her that even she hadn't realized was there. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. We thrive on your feedback, so be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Until next time, keep discovering and stay tuned.